Hi everyone, Dawn here. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. So today, y'all might see a couple videos from me today because I've got a lot to cover, and yeah, I have a lot to cover. But first we're going to talk about Franke filing for restitution against Jodi Hildebrandt. So I'm going to go over this article with you from the Salt Lake Tribune, and then we'll just discuss it a little bit. So this is on the Ruby Franke case. Husband Kevin Franke files for restitution after Jodi Hildebrandt's $5 million home hits the market. And you'll remember I showed that to y'all a few days ago, and I found it on Realtor.com. I believe it was something like 5.6 million or 5.3 million, something like that. A judge ruled Wednesday that Hildebrandt could not take action regarding her 10,000 square foot home before her February 20th sentencing. Kevin Franke, Utah parenting advice YouTuber Ruby Franke's husband, terrible parenting advice, filed for restitution against his wife's former business partner, Jodi Hildebrandt, last week, less than a month after she pleaded guilty to 4 counts of child abuse against 2 of the Franke children. Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke were arrested on August 30th. We all know that part. After police said they found 2 of Ruby Franke's children malnourished at Hildebrandt's Ivans home. The 2 women pleaded guilty to 4 counts of aggravated CA in December and are scheduled to be sentenced February 20th. That's my birthday. So I'm just saying that because I should be able to remember to watch that. Kevin Franke filed for divorce from Ruby in November after the couple had been separated for about a year, his attorney said in September. On January 12th, Kevin filed a temporary restraining order to establish restitution from Hildebrandt, requiring that she not be able to liquidate or transfer her personal assets before sentencing. The Franke children suffered immediate and continuing irreparable harm due to the crimes committed by Hildebrandt, according to court documents, and are receiving treatment for the psychological and emotional injuries suffered. The filing also states that the children will require long-term professional care, and that once the juvenile court matters are resolved, the cost of that care would fall upon the children and their father. This would be a completely inequitable result. The filing states the defendant presently has resources from which this restitution could be funded, but such may not soon be the case, and that resources may be liquidated should the court fail to immediately delay or prevent said liquidation or transfer. Hildebrandt's home in Ivans, the same property where 2 of the Franke children were found malnourished, was listed for sale on January 4th, Franke's attorney said in court documents. Zillow lists the 10,100 square foot property at $5.3 million. I was close. I said 5.3. I said 5.6 or 5.3, so I got it right. On Wednesday, 5th District Court Judge John Walton ruled that Hildebrandt may not take any action regarding the property until her February 20th sentencing. Walton also set a preliminary injunction review hearing for February 1st, court documents state. So, what do we think of that? I definitely think that those children deserve reparations for sure. Other than what's needed for the cost of care, like the mental health care they'll need to endure, I think that they deserve more than that. And I think that any funds that aren't being used for the mental health care of the children, for their therapy and what they need to go through, I think that it needs to be put into a trust or something that Kevin Franke can't touch, but the children can, at a said point in time. I don't think he deserves any of the money because he's as responsible, and Ruby's responsible, he's responsible. And, but then another part is, why shouldn't he have to pay for those bills? He took a part in this too. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he was in those videos on those 8 passenger videos. And I know that they aren't in trouble for those things. I know nobody's on trial for what happened in the 8 passengers videos, but we all know what we saw. And that he doesn't feel, it seems like he doesn't feel like he's responsible for any maltreatment of these children, and that's just not the case. He is responsible. The things he may have done may not have been as severe, but make no mistake, those children are suffering mentally because of what he's done or his inaction. So, although I do agree that those children deserve reparations and should get them, that they deserve restitution, and the victimizer should have to pay for all of that. And I think that those children should get money from this. I think that she should have to give them millions of dollars that is put in a secure trust that Kevin Franke can't touch. That's what I think should happen. Let's see. It's restitution. I keep saying reparations. I mean restitution. I don't know if that's the same thing. I know it's similar. I just thought I saw something else. But anyway, he is responsible for a lot of what those kids went through, you know, because I know that Jodi manipulated the situation, forcing him out. And we've heard from other men who have been in treatment with Jodi who have talked about how manipulative and how sneaky and snaky she is, and how she works the women to turn against the men and everything. But I also say, you know, Kevin had children in that home that he was forced away from for a year, and he doesn't feel like he should have to pay the mental health bills for these children. He's completely responsible for what happened to these kids. If he thinks it's Jodi and Ruby, but he's responsible too. And Ruby should have to be responsible for paying for that care also. Even if Kevin wasn't responsible, or even if Kevin shouldn't be held responsible to pay for it, Ruby should be held responsible to pay for it also. But you got Ruby, you got Jodi, and you got Kevin. Kevin is responsible partly for what happened to those children because, first of all, he abandoned them. Now, I know that his lawyer would say, we don't understand the situation. Jodi Hildebrandt is a brilliant manipulator. I understand all of that. But at the end of the day, even though he was broken down and everything, you got to suck it up. You got to man up when you have children. And he did not do that. He failed his children. And even before that, on like the 8-passenger channel, we saw his behavior towards his children. I mean, Ruby was the worst one, but he followed the leader. So, and again, I understand no one's being arrested. No one's being convicted of what we saw in the 8-passenger videos. But the evidence is right there. We can see that, you know, he's responsible for some of the mental damage these children have endured. And the other children, we don't know what they've gone through, but they may also need some mental health care also. So we just don't know. And so yes, I do think Jodi should have to pay, but I don't think it's right that Kevin isn't taking any responsibility for what happened to his kids. None of the responsibility is his, you know, and, but again, I do think she should have to pay. She should have to pay. Those children are going to need long-term care, maybe well into adulthood. And those children deserve restitution for what they went through. They deserve the money. They deserve her money. So, you know, and I'm not saying, oh, this is an opportunity for them to get rich, but they deserve not only money to pay for their care, but money to have, to continue their lives with. But again, in a trust that Kevin can't touch. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good that he's doing this, but honestly, he's going to get backlash no matter what he does. But I absolutely think that Jodi should be ordered to pay those kids something. But I think Ruby should too. Ruby has money. And I don't know. I can't believe that. Maybe Kevin does feel responsible, but he's not saying it. And, you know, to me, I think he's too cocky and arrogant to be like, you know, I take some responsibility for this. And he just has never said that, unless he said it when I wasn't listening. But yeah, I think he is responsible for what happened to his children, but I do think Jodi needs to pay. Again, in a trust. But anyway, that's really all I have to say about that. I just wanted to bring that up. Yeah, that's all. Did I have anything else to say on the matter other than her house? Oh, and I also wanted to point out, I watched Jesse's interview after Jodi pleaded guilty, and she said she spoke to the district attorney on the case, and that he believes that Jodi will get the maximum. So, you know, if a professional who works in this field and does this type of thing every day feels like she's probably going to get the maximum possible, she might get the maximum possible. And also, I want to point out that in a previous video about the upcoming sentencing, I misspoke. I said that they would only have to serve 40% of their sentence. No, it's 60% of their sentence, and I think that is only in certain circumstances, so it might not even apply here. So yeah, I wanted to mention that also. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and well, not enjoy this. I don't want you to enjoy this just destruction of a family and all that, but you know what I mean. And I will talk to everyone later. Bye.